Imagine waking up one morning and every single person in your city, your neighbors, your family, the baker down the street, the doctor, the merchant, is just gone. No bodies, no signs of war, no burned buildings, no goodbye, just silence. That's exactly what archaeologists found when they dug into the ground in what is today Pakistan and northwestern India. Buried under centuries of dust and soil, they discovered two massive cities, Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, that had been abandoned thousands of years ago. And nobody knows why. This is the story of the Indus Valley Civilization, one of the greatest, most advanced societies that ever existed on this planet. A civilization that flourished for over 1,000 years, and then, somewhere around 1900 BC, simply stopped. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will genuinely shock you. Here's something wild. We had absolutely no idea this civilization existed until about 100 years ago. It was 1920. A British archaeologist named John Marshall was overseeing excavations in what was then British India. His workers kept finding strange baked bricks underground. Bricks so perfectly made, so uniform in size, that locals had actually been stealing them for years to use in building railways. Yes, locals were using ancient 4,500-year-old bricks to build train tracks. And nobody stopped to ask, where did these come from? When Marshall's team finally dug deeper, they found something that made their jaws drop. Not just scattered ruins, not a small village, but a fully planned city, with straight roads, multi-story buildings, a sophisticated drainage system, and it was enormous. They called it Harappa, after the modern village nearby. A year later, workers discovered another city, 640 kilometers away, Mohenjo-daro, which in the local Sindhi language means Mound of the Dead. And that name would turn out to be fitting. Now, here's where things get truly incredible. The Indus Valley Civilization, also called the Harappan Civilization, wasn't just two cities. It was a massive network of over 1,000 settlements, spread across more than 1.3 million square kilometers. Let that sink in. 1.3 million square kilometers. That's larger than ancient Egypt and ancient Mesopotamia, the other great early civilizations, combined. At its peak, around 2,500 BC, somewhere between 3 and 5 million people lived in this civilization. In a time when most of the world's population lived in small farming villages, this was nothing short of extraordinary. And it flourished for roughly 1,000 years, from around 3,300 BC to 1900 BC. 1,000 years of relative stability, trade, and, as far as we can tell, peace. The civilization stretched across what is today Pakistan, northwestern India, and parts of Afghanistan and Iran. It had access to the Arabian Sea for maritime trade, the fertile plains of the Indus River for agriculture, and the resources of the Himalayan foothills to the north. It was the perfect location for a civilization to thrive. And thrive it did. Okay, let me paint you a picture. It's 2500 BC. You walk into Mohenjo-daro. The city has a population of perhaps 40,000 people, and the first thing you notice is this place is organized. The streets run in perfect grids, like a modern city. North to south, east to west. Everything at right angles. The main streets are wide enough for two carts to pass each other comfortably. The side streets connect neatly to the main roads. Every single house is built from standardized baked bricks, the same size, everywhere. Whether you're in Mohenjo-daro or in a smaller town 500 kilometers away, the bricks are identical. That's not an accident. That required planning at a scale we struggle to imagine for that era. Now here's the part that will really blow your mind. Almost every house in this city had its own bathroom and its own toilet, connected to a drainage system that ran under the streets, covered pipes made of brick that channeled waste away from the city. In 2500 BC, the sewage system of Mohenjo-daro was more sophisticated than most European cities well into the 19th century. Think about that. Medieval London, a city of the so-called civilized world, had people throwing waste out of windows into the streets. These people, 4,000 years earlier, had covered sewers and flushed toilets. There were also public wells every few blocks, so nobody had to walk far to get water. And at the centre of the city sat one of the most mysterious structures ever discovered, the Great Bath. It's essentially a large public pool, 12 metres long, 7 metres wide, and nearly 2.5 metres deep, waterproofed with special tar-based material with changing rooms on the sides and sophisticated drainage. Most archaeologists believe it was used for ritual bathing, something connected to religion or spiritual cleansing. But here's the most mysterious part of all. Among all these remarkable structures, the houses, the granaries, the bath, the workshops, archaeologists found something that wasn't there. Palaces, temples, monuments to kings. None. Zero. Nowhere. In ancient Egypt, you couldn't miss the pharaoh. The pyramids screamed his power. In Mesopotamia, kings built enormous ziggurats to declare their relationship with the gods. But in the Indus Valley, nobody left a monument to themselves. Nobody built a palace. There are no carvings of a great king conquering enemies. No statues of rulers. This civilization somehow didn't seem to need any of that. And then there's this, the weapons, or rather, the lack of them. Archaeologists have dug up thousands of objects from Indus Valley sites. Pottery, beads made of carnelian, lapis lazuli, and gold. Tiny figurines, including one famous bronze statue of a young girl known as the Dancing Girl of Mohenjo-daro, which is considered one of the most striking pieces of ancient art ever found. They found toys, actual children's toys, little clay animals, miniature carts, dice for games. They found merchant seals, small square stones with intricate engravings used to stamp goods in trade. These same seals have been found as far away as Mesopotamia, in modern Iraq, proving that the Harappans were active long-distance traders by sea. But weapons of war, stockpiles of swords, spears, shields, evidence of a standing army? Almost nothing. And the skeletons. When archaeologists examine ancient human remains from war-torn civilizations, they find fractures, blade marks, arrowheads embedded in bones. The signs of violence are unmistakable. In the Indus Valley, the skeletons show almost no sign of violence. This was, for its time and place, a remarkably peaceful civilization. So, what happened to it? Around 1900 BC, things start to change. Trade with Mesopotamia collapses. The drainage systems fall into disrepair. Buildings stop being maintained. People start leaving the cities, not in a panic, but steadily, over generations. The population drifts eastward toward the Ganges. The writing disappears. The standardized bricks stop being made. By 1700 BC, the great cities of the Indus are empty, left for the dust and the desert. For 3,700 years, nobody knew they existed. And when we finally found them, the question immediately became, why? Where did everyone go? The first theory was dramatic. A British archaeologist named Mortimer Wheeler found groups of unburied skeletons near the surface of Mohenjo-daro. Men, women, children, lying where they fell. His conclusion: A warlike people from Central Asia, the Indo-Aryans, swept in and massacred everyone. A villain. A crime. A clean answer. But it didn't hold up. Later analysis showed those skeletons dated to different time periods. No mass grave. No weapons in the bones. No burned city. No battle at all. The invasion theory has been largely discredited, so back to the drawing board. Here's where a Romanian scientist enters the story. In 2012, geologist Liviu Gheosan from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution used satellite imagery and sediment samples to reconstruct the landscape of 4,000 years ago. What he found: the monsoons began weakening around 2,200 to 1,900 BC. Rivers that had been powerful year-round started shrinking. Some disappeared entirely. One of them was the legendary Sarasvati, described in ancient Hindu texts as a mighty sacred river. Historians had assumed it was mythological. Gheosan's team proved it was real and that it dried up. Without reliable water, the agriculture collapsed. The cities couldn't sustain themselves. So the people left, gradually, moving east toward the Ganges. It wasn't a sudden catastrophe, it was a slow suffocation. But here's what haunts historians the most. We still can't read their writing. The Indus script, symbols on thousands of merchant seals and pottery fragments, has never been deciphered. We don't know what language they spoke, what they called themselves, or what they believed. Egypt gave us hieroglyphics, Mesopotamia gave us cuneiform. Even ancient Greek Linear B was eventually cracked. But the Indus script? 100 years of trying and still nothing. We have their cities, we have their art, we have their bones, but we don't have their voice. So where did the Harappans go? DNA studies give us a surprising answer. They didn't disappear. They blended. Their descendants are alive today, in India, in Pakistan, in the genetic fabric of over 1 billion people. Their legacy lives in ways most people don't realize. The tradition of ritual bathing central to Hinduism, possibly connected to the Great Bath, the reverence for cattle. The Harappans had that too. The swastika as a symbol of good fortune in South Asia. Its earliest known use was right here, in the Indus Valley. These people shaped the culture of over 1 billion people today, and almost nobody knows their name. They built cities where ordinary people had clean water and sewage systems, needs that billions still don't have fully met today. They lasted 1,000 years without leaving us a single war scene carved in stone. And when the climate turned against them, they didn't fight each other. They moved. They adapted. They became something new. The cities are gone. The script is silent. But the people endured. And somewhere in their story is a question worth sitting with. If one of the most advanced civilizations in human history could vanish so completely that we didn't even know it existed 100 years ago, what else don't we know? If that changed how you think about the ancient world, even a little, there's more where that came from. Subscribe, and don't let history stay buried. The thrones burned, but the stories survived.